Welcome back to Teaching Evangelicals Things They May Not Like About Jesus. During this time of political discourse, you may have noticed that evangelicals seem more and more determined to take this country back to its Christian roots. 10 or 15 years ago, the idea of Christian nationalism was pretty much widely frowned upon. Fast forward to today, you have pastors and politicians claiming that Christian nationalism is the will of God.
Some will say that I am advocating Christian nationalism. And so I do.
And just in case you're hazy on what Christian nationalism actually is, it pretty much means that the Christians believe that every person in the United States should bend and obey to biblical and Christian values. That means that the people really don't get to decide how Americans live, but people in power who happen to be Christians do get to decide how everyone lives. It has a lot of people, including myself, freaked out. This evangelical political movement is determined to wield its power over the American people. There's a very strong argument to be made by people who are not Christians, saying to the evangelicals, if I don't believe in your God, why should I have to follow your rules? And while that's a completely valid argument, it falls on deaf ears when it comes to the evangelicals. But I want to attack it from a different angle. I think we can actually use the person of Jesus against their political power grab. In Matthew 20:25, Jesus is talking to his disciples about what it means to have power and what it means to be great. Jesus said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those in high positions act as tyrants over them. It must not be like that among you. On the contrary, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first among you must be made your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." Jesus is telling his disciples, if you want to be great, if you want to have power, it looks like laying your life down for everyone around you. He contrasts it by saying, look at the leaders of the world around you. They all use their power to lord it over their people. But Jesus is saying, if you really want to follow him, that's not how he operates. To follow Jesus isn't to lord power over people. It's to lower yourself to serve them. So my question is this: have the evangelicals read this verse? Are the evangelicals really focused on following Jesus? Or has the modern evangelical movement shifted into something that doesn't look anything like Jesus? If the evangelical political movement was really concerned with following Jesus, they would not be determined to wield their power over the American people. Instead, they would be committed to the words of Jesus in laying their life down to serve all of those around them. It's time we hold evangelicals accountable to their own belief system. They either have to fully follow the words of Jesus and lay their lives down for the people around them, or they have to admit that it's never really been about Jesus anyway, but about lording over people. Send this to your evangelical friends. Let's see what they have to say.